Evan. Keep looking at me.
Don Dada, 1200. Steinmetz not a fan of the team, but on the station. That's crazy. No, it's very, very logical.
That was a low blow.
No, it wasn't.
It might have been Kendrick Perkins.
It's fair.
It was somebody that picked the Mavericks
I'm talking about the text line.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about TV. You want to put the bow on Jordan Poole? Let's put the bow on Jordan Poole.
JP.
Because that was the biggest move of the offseason. Getting CP3 and trading Jordan Poole. Here's what Joe Lacob said about why they ended up moving Jordan Poole. Long answer, but a great answer.
Well, first of all, winning is the most important thing. That's actually, there's no point in doing this if we're not going to win. Okay? So
that's why we
are trying to win. That's number one.
Yeah.
And whatever we can do to make team better, that's what we're going to do. Now, there are some constraints, obviously. Although, I don't know, I seem to bust through those constraints often. It's because at the end of the day, we decide, hey, it's worth doing. And it's been, look, It's proven to work.
Exactly.
We've been to the final 6 times in 13 years, and we've won 4 championships. Should have won 6. And the truth is, we're going to do if we think we have a chance to win a championship, we're going to do it, okay? But financially, this deal happens to make a lot of sense as well because we get some optionality at the end of the year. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Clay. We can talk about that, or with Chris. He's getting older and so on. But right now, as of right now, we have some optionality. We could decide at any point now, 2 weeks from now, somewhere in time during the season, we could decide what we're going to do with those guys. But that gives us optionality. And so that we didn't have that with Jordan, although I will admit it was hard to trade Jordan Poole. He's a hell of a player. Yep. He's a young player. I mean, it killed me to do that. But unfortunately, I don't like constraints. Nobody likes constraints. But we have constraints. And we had to figure out on a not only short term, but we have to take into account the intermediate and long term as well.
I mean, as far as explanations go, that's pretty comprehensive. You know, the question why'd your eyes light up a little bit there when he said something about Clay?
Because that was the part that kind of led me,
talk to me.
Like it could go either way.
It can.
And that,
It can.
that was like, oh,
most
man.
things can.
I know.
Dre could have gone the other way.
No doubt about it. And I thought if any one of the three, obviously not Steph, Clay or Dre would not be here, it would be Dre. And he got his 400. But just hearing it like that, just kind of like, man, it's a reality is all.
Yeah, I think, what do you think about this distinction? Because I don't know if people, this is directed right at Warrior fans, because I want to know what they think, because here's the way I think and what it means. You tell me if you think I'm off base. All right, Steph Curry's under contract for 3 or 4 more years? Draymond just got signed 4 more years. Clay, all indications are they'll get something done at some point. Okay. They're all going to be signed probably. Let's assume they're all signed for 3 or 4 more years. That doesn't mean, to me, they will retire as Warriors. Not necessarily. I think what it means is we're going to take care of our core. We're going to take care of our big 3 for as long as we think they can get it done. But the minute we don't think and I guess I mean the big 3 and their teammates, the minute we don't think we can get it done, then we've got to use every asset we have on our roster to try to improve it. And that may mean Clay and or Draymond.
There's no way
yes
I can
no?
tell you. No, that's realistic, but I'll tell you what Dub Nation's saying and what I'm saying to that.
Okay.
Steiny, tell me if you agree. That's worst case scenario. If you got to that juncture and you start talking about, hey, and we could all see it, then that means it's all over.
I think worst case scenario would be to end up like the Celtics in the late 80s when they got old and they had contracts and they all retired there except Parrish.
I'm going to say this to that, and you're going to laugh. You're going to be like, Guru, that's why I'm glad you're not my owner. Sometimes I think that's the cost of doing business. And the Celtics, they got old. Maybe it happened faster than they thought. But Steiny, I don't think anybody was mad. It was like we rode this MFR out, and this is what we got to do now, and it's now to the next phase. And that's why I'm big on this big Clay staying and and Dre and Steph kind of riding off in the sunset together.
But I think people overlook or ignore something Joe Lacob said this morning. They asked him about a trade and why they made a move about Jordan Poole, financial basketball. And he said we're trying to win. We're trying to win. And that's the number one priority for Joe Lacob.
He said
trying to win. And I believe there may come a time when trying to win may mean you got to come off one of these guys, not Curry, if we're not succeeding. Like, let me ask you, what best case scenario, this team stays healthy and they make a deep run, obviously.
All right.
Worst case scenario is they all get banged up to a degree where nothing's cohesive all year and they finish 500, let's say. What do you do then? That's the question that's the question.
Well, right now it's running it back, Steiny, if that were to happen.
Yeah. And I didn't like the idea of running it back.
500, I think a lot of people would, again, that's worst case scenario again. But if all that happened and you got flat tires and guys got hurt and they were not readily available, then you're facing that and it stinks. But it's the JD thing. We got to see how it looks, but I just don't see 500, if guys stay healthy.
Well, yeah, if guys stay healthy.
As an option.
If they don't stay healthy, they might not even be 500, is all I'm saying. My buddy Harry.
Yeah.
You're going to hate this. Now, Harry, I've told you, watches every Warrior game.
And his name is not really Harry.
And he's a little older gentleman, but he's very tapped in. And he knows, I feel like he really knows the game. And you know what? He's a fitness freak.
Oh.
He really takes care of himself. And as he's gotten older, he really is tuned into
talk to me.
Guys getting older and what it means. And he doesn't think he thinks it's unrealistic to think everybody's going to stay healthy. Like, it's just unrealistic to even think that.
At different junctures, Harry and you, Steph missed time. Dre missed time.
That's right.
And they still got 48 wins.
44. Right, they were sixth.
Right.
That's not good enough, Goo. Sixth isn't good enough for Joe. That's all.
Tell us, okay, I'll cut you off.
That's all right.
But it's unrealistic to think everybody's not good. But I would just tell Harry, even in the years they won the chip, Steph missed time. Guys were out at different junctures.
Not.
Like, everybody ain't going to come in. We all got the same injury. We're all out for the same time. That's how Harry makes it sound.
Well, the point is, I don't think they can afford to lose a guy or even, a guy.
Well, that's where you're going to miss Jordan Poole, right? That guy that could get you 25 or Gertie or 35 if Steph is out or Clay is out. That is what I'm watching too. Because Chris Paul, to me, doesn't have that in his toolbox.
What?
Scoring.
Come on. He can score if he wants to.
Well, not like Jordan, 25, 30, 35.
No, but
not that they said, hey, Jordan, we need you to get 35, but on a good day, he could be the man.
Yeah.
Don't sell my guy short.
Oh, he's your guy? Jordan Poole?
Washington's my league pass.
Here we go. Now he's his guy. All last year, he wanted to just take credit for Stacey Adams' shoes. You know what? So he denigrates Jordan Poole all year with a really good one-liner about the guy wears dress shoes out on the basketball
I think
court.
It was Fred Astaire.
And now he's my guy.
No, Fred Astaire.
See how he tries to do this?
No, somebody on the YouTube chat talked about you. They said, nobody keeps receipts like you.
That's right.
Problem is, you only keep half the receipt. I still whispered sweet nothing's greater than my concerns for Jordan Poole and the Stacey Adams. Like, we figured out why he might be Fred Astaire, because he was Joe Frazier. Down goes Frazier before the season started, and I said that might have an impact. But Jordan Poole's a hell of a ball player, and I told you as much.
Evan, I was on my way in today, and I thought, I once in a while reflect on the year I'm having.
Were you on a scooter?
No. I sometimes reflect on the year I'm having, and I realized I was right about something else, but now I can't remember what it was.
Must have been really important.
I'll remember at some point.
And you're
but
like
it's going to be
Harry.
added. It's going to be added to the ledger.
Your year is not really the year. You got the Chris Paul.
Great year.
And you got, was one more thing.
You better be careful.
But
We only
Dim's
got
gotta
2
put
months
it in.
left.
I got Bob Myers leaving.
Right.
Just like I got Kevin Durant leaving.
Steiny, that was an 18.
But Kevin Durant, he's going to stay. He's in basketball nirvana.
There's cobwebs on
Get
that
out of
prediction.
here.
That's retired.
Basketball
That's in
nirvana.
The cap. Give us some new stuff.
That is. I said the Giants were going to have the exact kind of year I said they were going to have. Right around 500.
You didn't predict Kapler getting ousted. Now that
I did not predict
that
it
would have
either.
been like that. You would have been on to something then. You'd have been hot.
Come on, we all knew that. Harry said the Warriors now have a 6 foot, 38-year-old player that's always injured and receding in ability. Did Chris Paul have 5 turnovers?
Talking about Iguodala?
No, we're talking about Chris Paul.
Dude, I love his lexicon.
His best player, Steph Curry, is turning 36 this season with legs that are not quite as quick anymore. This guy sounds like me. Thompson turning 34 and's had 2 major injuries. Green gets injured often. Has a bad back and turning 34.
Now.
How about this one? Wiggins is a head case.
Harry
had only one good year.
All right, Harry.
And it's been a flop in the playoffs.
Talk to us after the first month of the season.
Looney is an average center. Only shines when the other guys are having a great game.
I can see why you guys are friends.
Overpowered by good centers and a bench filled with average players.
Evan, what if I told you that's really not Harry, that's Steiny?
It's really not. It's not Harry. That's not his name. I'm just telling you.
There's a reason they're best friends.
Yeah, no doubt. We know it's really not Harry, but those are your
209. No, they're not. Yeah. No, they're not. Like, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say this about. Like, I would never say Chris Paul's always injured. Like, I just would never phrase something like that.
It's when he gets injured, to me, it's mostly when it's playoff time. That's what scares me about this.
Although he played more regular season games than Steph last year. So, I mean, that's the real question I have is how many games, the 6 most, forget Looney for a sec. We'll go 5.
All right.
Forget Looney. How much can those 5 guys, how many games can they all play together?
That's the key.
I know.
Yeah.